Today our topic is dialogue writing. Knowing the meaning of dialogue writing, you should know about the dialogue. What is dialogue? Dialogue is an integral part of our day-to-day conversation, because we have to interact in this society and we have to communicate with each other. This type of communication or interaction is called general conversation, and dialogue is a part of our general conversation. But dialogue somehow differ from general conversation, because when we speak day-to-day conversation and when we conversate with each other or interact with each other or communicate with each other, then that is different from dialogue, because these day-to-day conversation or speeches are general in nature, but dialogues are somehow different, because these are the representative of the way of the people really speak. And our day-to-day speeches or conversation are full of repetitions or hesitation or mundane utterance, which is very boring or maybe very repetitive. But in dialogue, these are specific, because the dialogue is like a meaningful conversation on a particular subject or particular topic. So the literal meaning of dialogue is to talk or conversation between two persons or two groups on a particular subject. So the literal meaning of dialogue That's literal meaning of dialogue. Talk or conversation between two groups or two persons. When we add the word on a particular subject in this definition, then it's called a dialogue. Talk or conversation between two groups and two persons on particular subject. And you can say that it's an exchange of opinion and ideas between two persons or more than two persons on a particular or meaningful topic. That's the meaning of dialogue. And when these verbal expression or verbal dialogue are the part of our day-to-day conversation, but the day-to-day conversation are general in nature and they are specific in nature, because these are on a particular subject or a meaningful topic. So you can see that some students are succeeded in written test or written exams, but unsuccessful in verbal test or verbal expression. So verbal expression are very necessary for success. And when we write these verbal discussion or verbal expression on a meaningful topic, these are called dialogue writing. Means when a meaningful conversation or a meaningful verbal expression is in the form of writing or is in the written form, then it is called dialogue writing. And dialogue writing requires some purpose. For what we write dialogue? So when we write dialogue, we should have a definite purpose, and at least one of these three purposes should be accomplished by dialogue writing. So the purpose of dialogue writing may be, first one is moving the story forward. Means if you want to write a dialogue, then there are a lot of purpose behind writing a dialogues. One of these basic purpose is moving the story of forward. The story may be of the novel, of the movie, and it helps to move the story forward through your dialogue writing. And the second purpose is dialogue writing fully reflects the personality of the characters, through which or on which character the dialogue writing are based on. So it reflects the whole personality, it represents the whole personality of the characters, that what will the character say and what will the character do in future. These ideas or these future opinions or actions or speaking are reflected by the dialogue writing. And third purpose is giving information. You can see several debates, several group discussion or several conversation, meaningful conversation on some specific topic or meaningful topic for a very specific or a very important purpose. So giving information, it's the dialogue writing. For this type of dialogue writing are for the purpose of giving information. It's also a very general purpose of dialogue writing, and most dialogue writing are written for this purpose only. So the dialogue writing is a very important for writing technique, and dialogue writing is a very intricate art of creative writing. It's not an easy task, but it's a very typical task, and to fulfill this typical task we have to follow some several steps for writing our dialogues. Like before writing a dialogue, you should have at least one topic on which you should write a dialogue. Means it should deal a topic at a time. Means one topic should be discussed in dialogue writing at a time. So first you think over the subject, because there must be a topic on which you want to write dialogue. And second step is after recollecting the ideas and after think over the subject, you should relate those ideas, those opinions relevant to that particular topic in a very coherent and very proper manner. It should look very logical manner. Means it so that it may look natural, not artificial. So this step is very important for the point of view of writing dialogues. You should arrange the matter, you should arrange the ideas related to that particular topic in a coherent manner, or logically, or you can say properly. And third step is about those characters you want to write a dialogue. You should assume the personality of those characters. Means you should fully aware of the personality of those characters. You should know about the character's education background, place where he or she belongs to, the age of the character, the occupation of the character, the likes and dislikes of the character, habits of the characters, interest and other activities of the characters. So you should fully aware, fully familiar with the habits and interests and activities of the character. Then it's very easy to dialogue according to that particular character. So first you assume the whole personality of those characters, about those you want to write dialogues, because it will give a very natural way to your writing, and the dialogues may look very natural and very impressive and attractive to the readers. So these are the steps you should follow and taken into consideration while writing a dialogue. And there are some tips, there are also some tips, or you can say rules for writing dialogues. There are a lot of rules and lot of tips which can help you to write a dialogues. Like tips for writing a dialogue. First one, you can say that there must be meaningful conversation between two persons. It should not done that one person or one speaker or one character monopolize the other character. So there must be equal role of the characters who conversate with each other or who interact with each other. So dialogues must be between two persons, two groups or more than two persons and equally play a role in this dialogue writing. And second tips for writing a dialogue is, you can say, avoid repetition. You should not repeat the ideas or the opinions again and again through your characters, because it gives a bad look to your dialogue writing. So there must be a lot of tips for writing a dialogues. And third one, you can say, use the very simple and lucid style so that it may be understandable, or you can say comprehensive for the readers. So adopt the very lucid and simple style for writing a dialogue. And you should not adopt, or you should not use bookish phrase while writing a dialogue, because bookish phrase doesn't look the dialogue's natural look. It gives dialogues artificial look. So avoid these types of phrases from the bookish. And in real conversation, you can see that our day-to-day conversation, our day-to-day speeches, one speaker is interrupted by the listener. But in dialogue writing, this should be avoided. Too much interruption by the reader or by the listeners in dialogue writing should be avoided. And when you use inner or internal dialogues in dialogue writing, these dialogues must be in inverted commas so that it looks very impressive or attractive in your dialogue writing. So there are a lot of tips for writing dialogues. And you should not adopt a difficult, or you can say ambiguous language while writing a dialogue, because ambiguity, difficult word meaning, these are the points should be omitted and you can say removed from your dialogue writing. And during a discussion and during a dialogue writing, you should mention the name of the characters after 5 or 6 pieces of writing dialogues, because if you don't do this, then the reader may be confused while reading a dialogue. He can flipping the page while he want to know the name of the characters. So you should mention the name of the character after 5 or 6 pieces of writing. So dialogues needs to convey information to the readers, but in a way that it looks very natural, it looks very understandable, and it looks very complete and comprehensive for the readers. So you use dialogue writing for conveying information, or for moving the story forward, or contributing to the personality, or giving information. But these dialogue writing or these dialogues should not be overloaded with too much information or too much ambiguity.